Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WDW After Dark. It is the podcast and the vidcast for everything that you need to know when it comes to the Disney parks, Marvel, Star Wars, Disney food, Disney travel, and a whole lot more. We're so glad that you were able to join us. This time around, we're going to talk about a little house cleaning real quick before we get into the show. Want to mention our travel sponsor, which is Kristen. Tell me, what is our travel sponsor? I want you to tell me this time.
It's Magical Journeys Vacations.
Magical Journeys Vacations. Yeah.
Yes. And you can visit the website by going to magicaljourneysvacations.com. And actually on there, there is all kinds of information that comes directly from Disney. So you can like research all your hotels and stuff there as well. All that important information. Like there's a certain plugin that I've been able to install in. And so it's got pretty much anything that you would want to find when it comes to doing your travel planning and research on the Disney website. You can find it there.
MagicalJourneysVacations.com is where you can find it. Also, click the link over at WDWAfterDark.com. Kristen will get you set up with a fantastic vacation. Also, one of our sponsors for WDW After Dark is an opportunity for you to get advance tickets to your favorite movie that may be coming up. It can be Star Wars, it could be Disney, it could be Marvel, it could be whatever you want it to be, but Fandango is the way to go. Just click on the link over at WDWAfterDark.com. And of course, as school is now starting up in much of the country, and then of course you've got the holidays on the way and so much more, you can do all of your shopping from your home, on your couch, in the bed, wherever you plan on doing it. Use Amazon, and you can get all kinds of stuff. Those sponsors all can be found over at WDWAfterDark.com. Just click on the sponsors portion of the page and give it a click. When you do that, you help out the show just to keep the show running. That's what that's our bread and butter, I guess you could say, in a way. So check out our sponsors over at WDWAfterDark.com.
WDW After Dark, now loading. WDW After Dark. WDW After Dark. Live and uncensored. Starring Jeff Davis, Al Jonko, Kristen and Eric Allen. WDW After Dark is live and uncensored. Call the hotline at 410-98-WDW-AD and follow us on Facebook at WDW After Dark Webcast and Twitter at WDW After Dark. Headline news, Disney food, video games, Marvel and Star Wars. WDW After Dark, live and uncensored. And now prepare yourself for WDW After Dark.
Let's go ahead and get to our introductions for this time around on WDW After Dark. I'm Jeff. You can hear me over on Sorcerer Radio at SRSounds.com. I'm sitting in for Al John, who is normally hosting the show. He's on the road working hard, so doing this part of the show for him, but we miss him, and we hope that he comes back real soon and is not busy, is able to go home and see Kristen and everything else, So otherwise, we've got two other talking heads with us who are regulars on the show as well. Mr. Eric Allen from the Sorcom Review over on Sorcerer Radio and Mighty Marvel Geeks. What do the geeks have coming up this week, Eric?
We will be talking about the latest news and rumors to come out of the Marvel community, as well as we'll be doing our regular picks for New Comic Book Day, which will be coming out Wednesday. And we'll probably also have a recap of our Marvel Unlimited picks. Now, last week we were trying to do that. We do something that we call Book Club each month. Mm-hmm. We talk about one book. It's like a book club. So it's something out of Marvel Unlimited. You go, you read it, and we discuss it. Last week we tried to, but the internet connection failed us repeatedly, so we'll probably be catching that up.
That's a problem we consistently have here on WDW After Dark.
I thought
internet
I
problems.
knew you could feel my pain.
Yeah, definitely feel your pain. But great to have you on the show this time around, Eric. Also joining us, Miss Dining at Disney. She is a Disney food expert. She's a Disney beer expert, a wine expert, a travel expert. I don't think I can list all the stuff that she's really good at, but Miss Kristen Hetzel from Dining at Disney and the WDW Tiki Room show on Sorcerer Radio as well. Kristen, what does Dining at Disney have going for you right now for the podcast and stuff like that?
Well, last week I mentioned our top 5 entrees to share that Bubba and I had done.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there was some changing of the servers of where everything is hosted, which is why some of you might have noticed that all of a sudden there were like 2 or 3 new episodes of After Dark. Well, of course, that affected Dining at Disney as well. So that is up and that can be heard now. But coming up, we have a new show, as well as a show that we're going to discuss the top 5 places to grab drinks. And Bubba's got Disneyland. Of course, I'm covering Disney World. And that's definitely, if you like to drink a place, definitely an episode you'll want to catch because it's got some interesting places on the list.
All right, looking forward to it. A reminder, check out the Dining at Disney podcast, the Mighty Marvel Geeks podcast, and also the WDW Tiki Room podcast. It's a highlight of the past show over on Sorcerer Radio, which happens on Friday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you check out all of those and give them their love, their 5-star reviews over on iTunes and Stitcher and all those other places that you can check it out. So let's get on with the show.
You got your headlines. WDW After Dark presents Disney Headline News.
Time to get to the headlines, which come from the Disney parks, Disney World of Technology and Games, and Disney Food, and a whole lot more. We got a lot of things to talk about on this episode. We're going to start with Miss Kristen Hetzel and Disney Food News. Kristen, what you got?
Well, I don't have food news. I've got travel news this week.
Okay.
And it is that Disney has released a new travel deal. And right now you can save up to 20% on rooms at select Walt Disney World resort hotels. You can book that from now through October 8th. The travel window for this is November 6th through the 10th, November 13th through the 22nd, November 26th through December 23rd. However, as always, there are resorts that are excluded from that. It includes the campsites, 3-bedroom villas, the villas at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, bungalows at Disney's Polynesian Villas and Bungalows, Bay Lake Tower at Disney's Contemporary Resort, Disney's Art of Animation, the Little Mermaid Standard Rooms, and Disney's Port Orleans Resort French Quarter. So it's your usuals that are excluded from travel deals.
In other words, the really, really nice stuff you don't get to use when it comes to those deals.
Yeah, they're like, hey, Art of Animation is new, and the only building that has standard rooms is Little Mermaid. So until we build a new value resort, you will never get a discount on these.
How new really is it after, it's been around 3 or 4 years now? So I don't understand how that's still considered brand new.
New is like a relative term, like double first cousin.
Oh, true. Yeah. And aren't some of those buildings the old legendary years buildings that they were building?
Yeah,
that they
that's
decided
what the Little Mermaid is.
Okay, so how can you consider that new when they sat there for 15 years, looking like, a post-apocalyptic type of,
Resort.
World War Z type of resort at Disney?
Think if this had been a building that had been left over at like Universal that they had started and didn't finish, they could totally have the Walking Dead hotel.
They could. You take a look at the Nickelodeon Studio Resort Hotel. It looks like something out of The Walking Dead now because it's just run down, hasn't been touched. But I don't consider Art of Animation new anymore after being around for 3 years. So they need to go ahead and let that go. So I kind of threw that in there. So that's a good travel deal there. I like that. Any more on it? Or is that
Nope, that's it.
Okay. All right. And You mentioned a new beer.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I have another beer that I am drinking tonight.
This beer is
beer.
definitely newer than the Art of Animation Resort.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'd sure hope so.
What kind is it?
Funky otherwise. This is Terrapin chocolate peanut butter porter. You can get it over at the Boathouse, and that's where I tried it for the first time. If you like porters, you like chocolate peanut butter, you'll really like this beer. It's pretty smooth, just a hint of peanut butter, so it's not.
Does it taste anything like a Reese cup?
Jeff, you got Reese's cup in my beer.
Kind of like a liquid version of it. Kind of little. Not too. It's not overly sweet. Just a little bit. I like it.
Did you get it just like the local store or something like that? Is that where you got it?
I went to. We've got Kroger here, so I just went to Kroger and was able to pick it up there.
Crunchy or creamy peanut butter?
I don't like crunchy peanut butter.
I have to ask.
Butter.
I have to be in the mood for crunchy.
Butter. I don't like peanuts. So, I know. I don't like peanuts. They have a funny taste to me. They almost taste like nuts that are going bad.
Interesting. Okay.
So what kind of nuts do you like?
It's not for everybody. Yeah.
So I love peanut butter, but I don't like peanuts. So therefore, I only like the creamy peanut butter, and I prefer the honey.
Okay.
The honey.
So like Eric said, what nuts do you like?
I like Brazil, almonds, cashews, macadamia. Okay. I like to get like the nice fancy mix. Usually that they charge a lot for, but doesn't have the peanuts in it. So
do you like chestnuts?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Oh, I love roasted chestnuts.
Roasting on an open fire?
Yes.
Oh, those are the best. They smell so good and they're so delicious.
They do.
Eric making Christmas references already.
Dude, I'm telling you, my car is ready for Christmas time because every time that I pull up my Bluetooth, it starts playing Jiminy Cricket reciting "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." I am not making this up.
No kidding.
I don't know.
That is kind of weird.
It's really weird.
It's possessed by the Christmas spirit.
I did do a Christmas in July show a couple weeks ago. And the day I got so excited about it after doing the show, listening to the music all weekend long. I played Christmas music in the truck everywhere I went. And everywhere I walk into a place, I just got this huge smile on my face. It made me so happy. And people are like, boy, you're just smiling a lot. I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to Christmas music right now. And they're like, Christmas music? I said, have you never heard of Christmas in July before? They're like, oh, yeah, the sales and all the other stuff. Yeah, so, all right.
Yeah.
Tangent here, okay.
If you ever worked retail, you hate Christmas songs because you start hearing them the day after Halloween, and they are non-stop. And, after so many hours a day, multiple days a week of hearing that, you just are like, no, I'm done. I'm done. Please just don't play it.
Kristen, thanks for the travel news. Appreciate it. Mr. Eric Allen, what do you have for me?
Well, I think in an earlier show, we talked about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming into its fourth and in all likelihood final season on ABC starting. They've moved it to the time slot of death, Kristen, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. The torpedo's in the water, but you could still save it by actually watching the show, and it's going to be good, I think, because they're going to have the current incarnation of Ghost Rider being on the show this season. Not Johnny Blaze, the Nicolas Cage guy on the flaming motorcycle. This is Robbie Reyes, who he's a Fast and Furious wannabe. That basically it's almost like a demonic Hulk. So. But that is not.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with this whole car thing. I'm sorry.
I know. He needs a motorcycle. He needs a motorcycle. Yeah. Unless he rides like on the top, on the roof or on the hood while the car is driving itself. I can accept that.
You could put him on a Segway. You could put him on a boosted board or anything else other than a car. I'm sorry.
A flaming Segway?
Yeah, flaming Segway. That would be good.
Didn't they have a problem with batteries like that?
Yeah, but they're still popular.
Okay. All right.
Those were the hoverboard.
Those were the hoverboards. Yeah, not the Segways. Yeah. I still want one. It'll burn down my house, but
Also premiering in September is the latest Marvel series to hit Netflix, and that is Luke Cage. Now, if you watched Jessica Jones, which was good, but it was definitely not kid hour, you saw him played by Mike Coulter, excuse me. I keep trying to say Cole. And you don't really see much about his background or how he came to be who he is, but they just released the newest trailer for the series. And basically you find out that he was subjected to some sort of experiment. He says, they put me in a tank like some kind of exotic fish. And you saw just kind of like, all kinds of electricity going through it. It's almost like Frankenstein in a bad way. But now he's bulletproof and he's super strong. And there's a lot of street justice, sticking up for your neighborhood. I'm really excited looking for this. There are several scenes where he is going into a building wearing a hoodie. Okay, a hoodie. Yay. Okay. But you've got like 30-something guys shooting guns at him. And you see the bullets just hitting and
popping into him.
Yeah, popping and popping back out. And, you see all these bullet holes in the hoodie. And he's just sitting there. He's just going like, and I'm just thinking, this is the baddest dude in the whole dang town. And there's a very good line in the trailer that says, you may be bulletproof, but Harlem isn't.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So there's a lot of different angles and story currents swirling around. But it premieres on Netflix on September 30th. And this is part of the Defender series. You've had 2 seasons of Daredevil. You've got 1 season of Jessica Jones. You've got Luke Cage. Then you're going to have Iron Fist show up in early 2017 before they have the Defenders, which is all 4 of them together.
Right.
And that I think is probably going to be the biggest thing to hit Marvel since the first Avengers movie. I really think that.
Here's my hope.
Yes.
My hope is that they do not have a lot of yep, and then 5 minutes of Luke Cage actually using his abilities. And then the episode is over.
I'm really thinking it's going to be more action than...
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because Jessica Jones just did not do it for me at all.
Well, Jessica Jones is more crime drama, more psychological thriller.
Yeah, and not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. I hope Luke Cage runs around kicking some serious butt.
If the trailer is any indication, there will be serious butt kicked.
Well, see, that's the problem with the trailers, these days, is that they show these huge scenes going of stuff blowing up and bullets flying off, when in reality, with a lot of these movies these days, that's only a 15 to 20-minute portion of the movie itself. Mm-hmm. The rest of the time, you're getting a lot of dialogue. So when you break it down to only an hour's worth of TV, and you're showing me that stuff, they kind of did that with Daredevil for a little while. They did maybe 5 to 10 minutes of actual, fists on faces type of scenes, and the rest of the time it was the yaps.
And you talk about fists on faces, though. There is a scene in this trailer where somebody is trying to punch Luke Cage.
Oh, I saw that.
You see slow motion of the fist coming in. The fist compresses and pretty much shatters.
Right. Yeah.
His face does not even move.
That portion was only like a split second worth.
I know.
But it was cool to watch, though.
Yes.
It was really neat. Yeah. And I think that's why I enjoy the DC shows so much, is because they incorporate a lot of the abilities and a lot of different action scenes into their shows, which is what I want Marvel to do a little more of. They do well when it comes to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They do it really, really well on that one. There's a lot of stuff in that. But some of these others, I hate all the dialogue all the time.
I really do think this is going to be pretty action heavy.
I hope so.
Luke Cage is not a dialogue guy.
Talk with your fist, not with your mouth.
That's pretty much what he does.
Best way to do it.
Sweet Christmas.
You kind of have like the kids mentality when it comes to like action-packed movies.
Yeah.
You need a lot going on. I don't care what they have to say. I just want to see somebody kill somebody.
Exactly. That's what I want to see.
What
Yeah,
most
pretty much.
kids who are about 10 years old are like, yeah, he won. You know,
That's me.
that's all you care about.
I'm the 10-year-old. We can all reference me now as a child for the rest of the time.
We want to see fists and faces and stuff blowing up.
I want to see crap getting blown up, and I want to see some blood.
I wish I could say that we were deeper than that, but that's the secret.
Yeah.
See,
And throw in a beer every once in a while.
I actually liked how, like, psychologically messed up Jessica Jones was.
Oh, yeah.
The whole thing with that and how crazy that dude was in it was just...
Kilgrave, yes.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of his name. I was like, that...
The doctor.
Yeah, but see, I like TV shows like SVU and Criminal Minds, and I get really annoyed when you don't have enough backstory. And really, with her, it's all about her backstory.
It is all backstory. I mean, oof, golly gee whiz. I struggled with that series badly.
I watched off topic, but having to do with lack of backstory. I was watching a horror movie on Netflix recently.
Uh-huh.
And somehow they like didn't tell you really what was going on. It's like they either ran out of money or something, and it had the guy from one of the actors who was on the TV show 90210, the more current version of it, and then the guy who was in both the first and second Final Destination movies. The guy who tells like his friends like something's gonna happen, we have to get off the plane, and they all run in and like, okay, that guy was in it. So I expected, and it was done by, I believe it was it Lionsgate? I don't know, but I expected more of it, and then you were like, what?
It was a letdown.
No, they missed telling you certain things that you needed for that story to make sense. And you're like, it's another one of those B horror movies that had a potential of being fantastic, and somebody messed up in this little spot. And
what was the name of the movie?
What was the name of the movie? I have to think about that now. I watch a lot of horror movies on Netflix.
I do too. I'm a big horror fan. You're gonna have to tell me, so I can check that out.
I'm gonna find that. Last night's movie is what stuck in my head. I'm like, it's not Captive.
Yeah, I just finished up Stranger Things on Netflix.
Oh, how was that?
Fantastic.
Okay, I heard it was good.
Fantastic. It is so good, so good. Oh, wow. Yeah, you got to watch it. Eric, anything else?
No, that's it.
That's
September,
it? Okay.
September 30th, the entire season breaks out on Netflix.
All right. So check it out. Netflix, Luke Cage. We'll see how this one goes. Let's get to Disney Park news. I'm going to start with the... this is a Tweedledee and Tweedledum segment of the show, I guess you could call it. But some of you may or may not know, over at Disney's Hollywood Studios a couple nights ago, during Fantasmic, they got a lot of props for that show right there. A lot of different things going on, some fireworks and some fire and water. But then they've got these huge floats that come out, float on the water and everything else. Well, one character almost didn't make it to the end of the scene of that portion of the show. Dopey was walking across the top portion of the steamboat as it was going across, had his handkerchief in his hand, he's waving around, he's walking with all the other characters, and unfortunately his foot slipped in between the bottom bar and the floor on the second level of the float, and he fell right through it. You would have thought that Dopey was going to end up in the water, but he didn't. He actually fell to the first level. Right next to Goofy, and I can't remember who else was right next to him after that.
I think he almost fell on Goofy.
He actually did fall on Goofy. Literally, he did. And Goofy just kind of turned around and looked for a second and like, oh, no, you fell. But I got to keep doing my handkerchief here. So you're just going to have to lay there on the ground. So, lots of people caught it. You know, it was on Twitter. It was on Facebook. It was on a lot of different things. Huge, huge thing. Well, as of last night, that float has been removed from Fantasmic. It's not being used right now. They instead of using that float, they have inserted a water effect for the time being. And the only reason that I can think of, the reason that they have done this, is because Disney is modifying that float to where the railing system is completely closed, where this cannot happen again, where a character falls through the railing and almost into the water. I think that's probably what... You know how many children probably got traumatic, was just messed up in the head? Oh my God, Mom, Dopey almost fell in the water. He fell on top of Goofy. I can only imagine a parent having to answer that type of a question, why it happened. But
Dopey fell down, went boom.
So as far as I know, the cast member was
tiny.
okay. Yeah.
So
I haven't gotten any word as to whether the cast member hurt himself or herself. I don't know. I think they're fine. I haven't seen anything on that yet. Yeah. But
I had read somewhere that the cast member was fine, that both cast members were fine.
If Goofy hadn't been standing there, he could have ended up in the water, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe just a harder fall.
And if you go into the water at that point, think about it. Those costumes, especially those heads, are not light. They're rather heavy.
Yeah.
And that all could drag you down, and you may not be that very strong of a swimmer.
True. Yeah.
I mean, there's no telling how that could have ended had Goofy not been there.
I'm not exactly sure how deep that pool is at Fantasmic. I'd be curious to how deep it actually is. It's got to be somewhat deeper in order for that steamboat and the other floats to get through that area.
Yeah.
But for the water that they use, the jets and everything else. Mm-hmm. But very, very scary situation. So it's good that Disney, did decide to pull the float, make it a little more safe for the characters. And it just comes down to just missed footing. That's all it was. Yeah. He misjudged the footing in the area that he was in and fell to the first level. So,
okay.
Chris.
Online, it says that the water depth varies from 1.5 feet at the mountain to approximately 6 feet in the middle.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And that's about in the middle. That's pretty close to the middle as to where that's at. So that could have been a much, much worse situation for that cast member.
And if you're shorter than 6 feet, then I mean you can drown in about 1.5 feet of water. But,
yeah, Dopey is only about 4 feet tall, maybe 4.5 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Dopey, in order to play Dopey, you have to be anywhere from 4'8" to 4'10".
Okay.
See, there you go.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if he fell in 6 foot of water, that'd have been very, very bad.
Mm-hmm.
Very bad. Man, but we're glad the cast member's okay. We're glad Disney's taken a little precaution to make the float a little more safe when the cast member's on it. And I'm sure it'll be back soon for you guys to enjoy if you're headed to Walt Disney World this summer and see Fantasmic. One other story to get to, and this is part of the Tweedledum and Tweedledee and Tweedledummer, because this one is just...
Yes.
Recently, as of, I think this happened today, as a matter of fact.
I think so, yeah.
Orange County Sheriff's Department arrested a man, actually this happened yesterday, on Monday, for trying to bring a gun into the Magic Kingdom there at Walt Disney World. Kevin Webb, he's 42 years old. He did acknowledge that he was carrying a firearm when he was asked to walk through the metal detector outside the park's main entrance. And when the security guards in the sheriff's office approached him, he said that he was a police officer. When he was questioned further, he said that he was a retired police officer, but was allowed to carry his firearm for 5 years after retirement. Okay, seems legit. Well, what do? They call the sheriff's office, the police station that he said he was affiliated with. That would be the Sherwood Police Department in Arkansas, of all places. Lord help me. And They discovered that he had not been employed for several years with that police department, and the fact that he was fired. He would never retired from the police department there in Arkansas. Got fired. He wasn't even retired at all. So he's booked on charges of impersonating an officer, and he was booked on carrying a concealed weapon as well. So if there's any question in your mind as to whether or not Disney is being thorough with their security procedures when entering a Walt Disney World theme park, this is a very good example that maybe they are. Now, not everybody goes through the metal detectors. This is a random selection.
Mm-hmm.
Disney has been trained for this type of stuff in some form or fashion. Kristen will dispute that, but she's biting. She's biting at it right now. She wants to say something so badly. Kristen, are they trained well enough? Are they trained well enough? Just answer that.
No.
Okay. So some people think they are, some people think they're not. But at least Disney did catch this individual before getting into the park with a loaded handgun at the Magic Kingdom. It's like Eric said before the show started, he was probably going to head to Frontierland and go to the shooting arcade. So he didn't have to pay his, $1? Or whatever.
Like,
I mean,
I can't hit nothing with it here.
There's a movie where somebody
staying down this time, by God.
Axel Foley, Beverly Hills Cop, if you've ever seen it before.
Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah, he's there in the shooting club, and everybody else is using these little laser things and everything else, and he's just kind of looking around. He just pulls out his handgun, just boom, boom, boom. Hilarious scene. Yeah. That's what it would have reminded me of if he had gone to the shooting arcade in Frontierland. But gosh, for an individual to do something like that, don't you think that they would want to verify the fact that you are retired from the police department? They are going to want to see a concealed carry license, whether you're retired or not. You're still going to have something like that. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Does not make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And the guy, I think, just wanted to play cop, and never mind the fact that he got fired. It just, I don't know. I mean, you want to carry concealed, there are ways to do that. There are legal ways to do that.
That's right. That's exactly right. And there's no telling how many different locations this guy has gone into with a loaded firearm. That also kind of scares me a little bit. So good on Disney security for catching this before he got into the park. That's a fantastic thing. But gosh, what an idiot. What a moron. Unbelievable. And
a mousy moron, shall we say.
Yes, very much a mousy moron in some ways. Anybody else have any news stories before we move on?
Nope,
okay.
I think we're good.
So those are our headlines for this week, and we'll have more next week on WDW.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently holding for further traffic clearance.
Check out Kristen's new website, MagicalJourneysVacations.com, for all your vacation needs. Disney, Universal, cruise lines, and more.
Thank you for traveling with us.
MagicalJourneysVacations.com. Have her book your magical vacation today.
All right, time to close up once again another edition of WDW After Dark. We've had a fantastic show. We've talked a lot about a lot of great things, good headlines as far as the news segment went, had a good top 5, all kinds of stuff. We've had a great time, but we've got to go. We've got other things we've got to do. We've got to either go to bed or do some work or have dinner or just watch TV. But
now it's time to say goodbye to all our company.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is the portion of the show where we let you know where you can find us on social media. There's a lot of different options. So if you need to write this down, grab a pen and paper. But we'll start with Miss Kristen Hetzel. Where can everybody find you on social media?
You can find me at diningatdisney.com. Also on the diningatdisney.com podcast with Bubba, as he's known as Big Bubba B. You can find him on Instagram and Twitter that way. And everywhere on social media except for YouTube, it's Dining at Disney. On YouTube, it's the Dining at Disney.
Thank you very much, Kristen. You can find me on Twitter at DW_60 and also at Jeff Davis _75. You can listen to me on Sorcerer Radio Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern Time over at srsounds.com for DW60, and also be looking for vlog video updates over on YouTube. Just search for my name, click on it, subscribe, like, all that stuff. Definitely appreciate the support when it comes to all that. And you can also catch me in the Sorcerer Radio Disney Fun Zone on Facebook. Mr. Eric Allen, where can everybody find you on social media?
Okay, you can find me on Twitter either at Uncle Servo or at Sorcom Review. You can also check out the Sorcom Review's Facebook page. Where else on Facebook? And you can hear me on Tuesday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern for the Sorcom Review. Also hear me on Saturday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern as part of Mighty Marvel Geeks, which is also available in podcast format on iTunes. And hit me up in the Sorcerer Radio Disney 4 Zone.
There you go. Thank you very much, Eric. We appreciate it. And anytime that you want to get in contact with us, like I said, you can send us a tweet over at WDW After Dark on Twitter. You can send us an email to WDWAfterDark@gmail.com. And then, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button and leave us a comment down below on what you think of the show, your top 5, any comments or anything else. We'd love to read stuff like that. So we'd love to hear the interaction from you guys.
If you like the show, feel free to also comment on iTunes and give us a 5-star rating there. We do have, true, unfortunately, a post where somebody wrote something that isn't true, and Apple could care less. So
yeah,
well, yeah, exactly.
We'll
Kristen,
send Ghost Rider after him.
Kristen, you had something to mention real quick before we end the show.
I do. We now are on Patreon. If you aren't familiar with it, it is like, it's kind of like crowdfunding, but you put on there like goals that you have, specific goals. And you get rewarded for contributing. So you can pledge anywhere from $1, and we've got all the way up to $50 per month. You can cancel at any point that you want to cancel, but there's different things that you'll get as a reward when you do this. So you could pledge, decide you're going to pledge $5 for 5 months. Think, that's all I want to do.
Right.
But we give you something for that. So all the details on it are on the website. So if you go to WDWAfterDark.com, you will find everything there. For those of you in the chat room, I have posted the link to the Patreon page in case you want to check it out. But just so you know, this does help cover the cost of things like new microphones, new webcams, those kind of things that we are in need of. It's a way to give us the ability to improve the show so that you can enjoy it even more than you already do. Or if you've had issues and you're like, gosh, this is one thing, like, why can't they fix this? That helps us. That would be one of the reasons.
Thank you so much, Christian. Appreciate that. So make sure you check it out over on patreon.com/WDW After Dark. We want to mention our sponsors one more time. Magical Journeys Vacations over magicaljourneysvacations.com, where you can book a future Walt Disney World trip. And I'm getting a phone call right now. And you can also check out Amazon, and you can check out Fandango as well. All of that can be found over. The phone call flustered me for a second. You can find out all that stuff and the links over at WDWAfterDark.com when it comes to our sponsors. So we encourage you to check those out as well. Does anybody have anything else before we go?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Stitcher Radio. Check us out on iTunes. Leave reviews, hit likes, 5 stars, subscribes, comments, all that stuff. We are definitely appreciative, and we thank you for coming back every single week to check out another edition of WDW After Dark. We love you guys so much, and we thank you so much for all of your support. So until next time, always remember, it's always better After Dark. Take
He's
care.
right, you know.
The next generation is here.
Next stage, next grade, next wave.
The new Sorcerer Radio app version 4.0.
Take your favorite Disney park music and SR shows with you everywhere you go.
The new Sorcerer Radio app version 4.0.
There's a lot of satisfaction in developing ideas into realities.
We went back to the drawing board with an all-new design and features that you've been asking for.
To infinity and beyond!
All new design, daily schedule page, Sorcerer Radio Disney News page, keep on screen, sleep timer, screen lock display, Bluetooth display, visual buffer, iOS 8 compatible, iPad compatible, optimized for the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, coming soon to Android. And the best part, it's free.
The new Sorcerer Radio app version 4.0.
Download it for free.
Thank you for traveling with us.
All Disney music all day long. Sorcerer Radio, srsounds.com.